Rabbis, relatives, distinguished guests, family, friends, and those who just left for tea. I would like to welcome you all to what is not really an induction, but more of a celebration of what I hope is a covenant looking to the future. Just over 3 years ago, a journey from safe northwest London to leafy South Manchester, or Cheshire for some of you, was undertaken. A daunting journey indeed. Not only having to deal with the M1 and M6, but also taking on a community that had been driven by the previous incumbents. The rabbi and Rebbetzin were facing their Alex Ferguson and Bill Nicholson. Could they achieve what David Moyes, Ryan Giggs, Louis Van Gaal, and various others failed to do? Only time will tell. If that was not enough, let's throw in the small matter of a pandemic. But the rabbi and Rebbetzin were off and running. So here we are today, driving towards the big stock scale. And you may have noticed I started by using the phrase covenant and not contract. One of the challenges of communal life is defining the relationship between the rabbi, president, and community. Do we think business or use the phrase staff? Now, yesterday's parsha gave us a big hint to highlight the consequences of mistreating your staff as the impact on the community events. All too often, a contract is about protecting yourself and others, with each party focused on pursuing their own advantages or self-interest. A covenant relies on both parties respecting the dignity and integrity of each other. The result is a bond of trust and creates something that individually we could not achieve, but together we can exceed. This is the relationship I believe we can have between the rabbi, Rebbetzin, and the king, and I hope the executive as well. And recognition of the power of we versus I is not Sachs wrote in the book, The Rabbit. In his book, Lord Sachs tells the challenge of achieving university programs. A group of 8 rowers plus 1 fox who, despite their best efforts, could never be. So as most groups do, they did some major cases and decided to look at their competitors. The message was loud and clear. To their surprise, the competitors had a completely different approach. It would appear that they did not have 8 people suggesting what should be done, with only 1 person in the role. Rabbi Rebbetzin, I hope in our case, we collectively set the direction, the cadence of activity, and the community pulls together in the same direction. And there can be no greater sign of this than the number of young families who join our community and the thriving children's programs we have so many of you are hoping that this morning you have a quick break to catch up on the movie. But instead, we have some lessons.
Mazel Tov, Rabbi, on your formal inauguration. We are so thrilled to have you and Leanne as our rabbinical couple. Here's a few words from some of the members of the Kehillah expressing how much we all appreciate and love you. Mazel Tov.
I knew, having been in the community since the late 1980s, that anyone following Rabbi Joel Portnoy would have an enormous task on his hands. But having seen Reb Yisrael at his Shabbos audition, I knew we had a diamond. Having seen him at solemn and joyous occasions and perform as he does, I know we've got one of the very best young rabbis in the country. And it's a pleasure to have Rabbi Yisrael and Leanne as our rabbinic couple.
Reb Yisrael, Leanne, just wanted to use this amazing opportunity to tell you how much we love you and appreciate you in Hale. You've guided us through some extraordinary times, some of the most challenging moments the community's ever faced, and you've been calm and collected.
And you've been here for our family on a personal level through bat mitzvahs, simchas, football matches and barbecues at the rabbi's house, all manner of fun. We absolutely love our time with you.
You smash the pulpit, you do an amazing job with music, bringing in new members. I don't even know where to start with some of the excitement that's building, and we feel it.
So we just want to wish you a huge mazel tov on your inauguration. We look forward to many, many years of your guidance and your friendship.
Oh, man. Big love.
Mazel tov.
Hi, Rabbi and Rebbetzin. Wishing you a huge mazel tov on the occasion of your inauguration, which is long overdue. It's been absolutely fantastic having you as part of the community. It's been great to have more young families feel much more engaged, like Dee and myself. We also love having a rabbi whose knowledge of cricket and football equates that of his knowledge of the Mishnah as well.
Leanne, thank you for all your guidance and support. You've been an amazing friend, and I look forward to lots of more happy times together in the future.
I'm so glad to have the opportunity to be here and say Mazel Tov for this weekend for Rabbi Benstock, Leanne and the family. And it is a wonderful occasion. He is going to be in just our Shule, and hopefully everything will go from strength to strength. My husband once said to me, a Shule's got to grow, and he has made it really grow well, and hopefully that will continue to grow in strength to strength.
We've really enjoyed having both of you. I'm amazed, Leanne, at how many children you've managed to find in Hale. I had no idea we had so many. And you've made so many beautiful events, and my grandchildren and my children have loved coming too.
I'd like to say something about your sermons. I've always enjoyed listening to your sermons, and there are two things that stick in my memory, and that's the eulogy for Harvey, which I think was just so heartfelt, and it just was so inspiring. And the same with Jeff's sister. Your words were just fantastic.
As a couple, you've been incredibly warm and welcoming to the whole of the community, and you've really made us feel part of something. And I think your warmth and generosity brings us all together. So I would like to thank you.
The rabbi when he comes to nursery to sing.
Mazel Tov, Rabbi and Leanne, on this very momentous occasion. We want to thank you so much for bringing so much joy, energy and life into our community. May you continue to do amazing things together with your family, your beautiful family, and may Hale go from strength to strength.
Rabbi Yisrael and Leanne, we are so sorry that we can't be with you for your installation, We would have loved to have been there, and we are so happy to have you with us in Hale Shule.
Yep, have a wonderful day celebrating with the Chief Rabbi, and we send you much love.
We have been privileged and honoured to be your friends and neighbours since you moved into Rydal Drive 3 years ago.
You have brought smiles, kindness and compassion to the whole community, and we are so grateful. We wish you a special Mazel Tov on your inauguration.
One of my favourite memories with you was at my bar mitzvah when you had that incredible speech which you delivered perfectly. Me and my family couldn't have asked for anything more, and it was honestly the best thing I've ever heard. Another great moment I shared with you was when we were at your house in the Euros watching England beat Germany 2-0. It was incredible. The heat, the atmosphere, we all loved it. Thank you so much. You're such a cool rabbi, and we're so honoured to have you.
Best wishes, Rabbi Yitzhak Binstock and wife Leanne, on your induction by Chief Rabbi Ephraim Mervis. We are proud to have you as our Rabbi and Rebbetzin.
Over the last 4 years, we've got to know you both, and we've almost given you the full Monty to deal with. Firstly, obviously, you were around and helped when I lost my dad, and then more recently, over the lockdown, you helped us put on a lockdown bar mitzvah, a lockdown bat mitzvah, and finally, a lockdown wedding. And how I know we bombarded you with hundreds of questions, and you were so patient with us, and we truly, truly appreciate it.
And Leanne, I'd just like to add, on a personal note, you've been so supportive and welcoming to me and our girls, be it over the bat mitzvah, the wedding, inviting us over to make challah, and even popping out for a catch-up over coffee.
So again, we'd like to wish you Mazel Tov for a long and successful future with Hale Shule.
We're absolutely blessed to have you in our community. You're a wonderful couple with great kids, and we are absolutely blessed. The Kotzker Rebbe once said, better you should throw me into a furnace than to be a rabbi of a community. I hope we're not that bad.
And only go from strength to strength during happy and healthy times.
See you soon.
Mazel Tov.
Mazel Tov.
The benefit of this 2-year late induction is for me to be able to say from experience that you are incredibly strong and also humble, so much wiser than your years. We consider ourselves very lucky to have your leadership, support and friendship. Mazel Tov.
Tova and I are so pleased that we've had the opportunity to know you, to work with you, to grow with you. I commented to Tova the other day that when we are coming to this community for the first time, not having had the opportunity to interview here live and in person, it was so wonderful to be met by you, Rabbi Yisrael, at the airport, and to have the support of you and Rebbetzin Leanne throughout the difficult time, which was the Corona pandemic period. To call you both friends as well as mentors is one of the biggest privileges I think that Tova and I have had throughout our time here in Hale, and we're filled with a tremendous amount of gratitude to be able to call you our Rabbi and Rebbetzin.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Binstock and Rebbetzin Leanne, for all the mentorship and guidance that you've given us. We heard once at a training seminar about how being the guide from the side is actually more key than being a frontal leader in the community, and in this case you are both. You guys are both frontal leaders in the community in Hale, leading the way, and guides from the side in terms of how you lead people through life and you hold their hands through the most important times in their life and the life cycle events, as well as the everyday. So we really want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being our mentors and for being the community's leaders.
Sending love and Mazel Tov to you, Rabbi Yisrael and Leanne, on the occasion of your induction. May you be blessed with many, many productive, healthy years, sharing joy and nachas with your kehillah.
Amen. Mazel Tov, guys. Just want to send lots of love and tell you both that every time we hear something amazing that's going on in Hale, we are so happy, and we hear lots and lots of fabulous, fabulous news. So hope it goes really well and enjoy your induction.
Nachon, Yiralson Shatisha Ashkina B'Masi Ydeichem. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu rest His divine presence on all your undertakings.
Hey Rabbi and family, Mazel Tov on joining our community. It's been a pleasure for the last 3 years,
Hope we spend many more years working together.
A quick one, Rabbi Binstock. I'm so happy to work with you and congratulations on your induction.
We love you, Mommy and Daddy. Hale Shule is #1. We love you, Mommy and Daddy. Hale Shule is #1. We love you, Mommy and Daddy. Hale Shule is #1.
Shalom b'roimo, u'yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'amo Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, Yako Yisrael, Yaseh shalom. Shalom, shalom aleinu, Yaakov Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, Yaakov Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, Yaakov Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu,
May the Supreme King of Kings in his mercy preserve the Queen in life, guard her and deliver her from all trouble and sorrow. May he bless and protect Her Majesty's armed forces. May he put a spirit of wisdom and understanding into her heart and into the hearts of all her counsellors, that they may uphold the peace of the realm, advance the welfare of the nation, and deal kindly and justly with all the house of Israel. In her days and in ours, may our Heavenly Father spread the tabernacle of peace over all dwellers on earth, and may the Redeemer come to Zion, and let us say Amen. Amen. Prayer for the welfare of the state of Israel and its defense forces. Mi shebarach avotenu Abraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, hu yivarech medinat Yisrael, rashea v'yotzea, al hadama shenishba lavotenu latet lanu. Tem libam avatcha v'yotcha lesadav nishbat v'tzdaka, v'nizkev yameinu l'divrei avadecha neviim, ki mitzion teitzei Torah, udvar Adonai miYerushalayim. Avinu shebashamayim, v'kodnat chayrei tzva hagana l'Yisrael meginei eretz kodshenu, shomrei mikol tzara v'tzuka, ushlach bracha v'atzlacha b'chol ma'asei yedeihem. Sim shalom ba'aretz v'simchat olam al kol yoshveha, v'shav Yaakov v'shakat v'shanan v'ein macharit, ufros sukat shlomocha al kol yoshvei tei b'artzecha, v'cheini hi ratzon v'nomar Amen. Amen. I'd like to invite Diane Steiner to lead us in the prayer for the community.
Mi sheberach avisein Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov, Yivorach es kol hakodesh hazeh, im kol kehilos hakodesh, Hein und Shem uvnem uvneisem v'chol ha'shelahem, u'mi shemeyachtim botei knisiyos l'tfilo, ומי שבוהם בסויכם להספלל, ומי שנויסנים נר למור ויין לקידוש של הבדולו, ופס לו ערכים וצדוקו לעניים. וכל מי שעוסקים בצורכי ציבור באמונה, הקדוש ברוך הוא ישלם שכרם, ויעשה מהם כל מחלה וירפא לכל גופם, ויסלח לכל עווינו, וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיהם, עם כל ישראל אחיהם, ונאמר Amen. May he who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, bless this entire congregation together with all the holy congregations, them, their wives, their sons, daughters, and families, and all that is theirs, together with those who unite to establish synagogues for prayer, and those who enter them to pray, and those who give funds for heat and light, wine for Kiddush and Havdalah, bread to the wayfarer and charity to the poor, and to all who devotedly involve themselves with the needs of this community and the land of Israel. May the Holy One reward them, remove sickness from them, heal their bodies and forgive their iniquities, and may he send blessing to all the works of their hands, as well as those of the entire people of Israel. And let us say, Amen.
Ana avda de kutsha brichu, de sagina kame, umi kame di ka raisa b'chol idon v'idon. La alanash rachitsna v'ala al be'al lehin samichna, ela bilhad yishmaya dura kashait, v'iraisi kashait, nivai kashait, maske mevad tavon kashait. Be'ana rachitz v'shmei kadish yakira ana ema tushbachan. Yehi rabba kodamach, the siftach libai b'raisa, the sashli mishalim libai, Riwa de Chalamach Yisrael, the Tav, the Chayim, the Shlom. I am the servant of the Holy One, blessed be He, before whom and before whose glorious Torah I bow at all times. Not in man do I trust, nor in any angel do I rely, but on the God of heaven, who is the God of truth, whose Torah is truth, whose prophets speak truth, and who abounds in acts of love and truth. In Him I trust, and to His holy and glorious name I offer praises. May it be your will to open my heart to the Torah, and to fulfill the wishes of my heart and the hearts of all your people Israel, for good, for life, and for peace. Amen. Amen. Friends, we'll continue with Psalm 121, Tehillim Kuf Chaf Aleph. We have a custom normally reciting this Tehillim on Shabbos morning after the prayers of the royal family, the state of Israel, and the community. And we have a particular focus when we say these prayers together, to have in mind places where they need peace and people who need healing. There are many members in this community who need a refuah shalema, who need a speedy recovery. And we have them in mind when we say this prayer together, followed by Achinu. Shir la'malos, esoy na'el ha'harim, me'yahin yavo esri, esri me'yim adonai, I say shamayim v'aretz, al yiteh, lamoy traglecha, al yanuhum shomerecha, hinei la yanum, v'lo yisham, shomei Yisrael, Adonai shomerecha, Adonai tzilecha, al yad yaminecha, Yomam Hashemesh, lo yakeka, ve'yareyach b'layla, Adonai, yishmarcha mikol ra, yishmar es nafshecha, Adonai, yishmar tzeischa v'echa, me'yata v'yadayla,
nafshi, oy nafshi, chomda, chomda b'tzeil yodecha. Oy lodas, oy lodas, oy lodas, kolodos oy decha. Nafshi, nafshi, chomda, chomda b'tzeil yodecha. Oy lodas, oy lodas, oy lodas, kolodos oy decha. She's our Yerav, Yerav, no, Sichi, Olecho, Yerav, she's our Yerav, she's our Yerav.
Dein Steinerschlitter, dein Bünstachschlitter, aber nimm nicht bei dem Schlitter, Moreover, Rabotai, this is such a wonderful and exciting and marvelous occasion, and I feel so privileged to be part of it and to participate in it today. At the outset, I would like to congratulate Bob Savinson and his team for your outstanding leadership of this community. These are not easy times, emerging as we are now from a global pandemic. And thank you so much for everything you are all doing for this community and the manner in which you're doing it in partnership with your rabbinic team. And speaking about rabbinic team, I know you'll all join me in extending a refuah shlema to Rabbi Evan Levine. It's so lovely that his Rebbetzin Tova is with us today, and please, Rebbetzin Tova, convey to Rabbi Levine our very best wishes for refuah shlema, and Yiritzeh Hashem, he will be back here in Shule as soon as possible to resume his full activities in the best of health. Amen. It's so lovely that we're joined today, all the way from South Africa, by the parents of Rebbetzin Leanne, the Sklas, and how wonderful it must be for you, I'm sure it is. The excitement is so palpable to derive so much nafas from your outstanding, wonderful daughter and son-in-law and family. And we extend very best wishes to you for continuous nachas from all of your mishpacha. And equally, how wonderful it is for us to celebrate together with Dain and Rebbetzin Winstock. Dain Winstock is truly one of the most outstanding rabbinic leaders we have in this country. The entire British Jewish community benefits in so many ways, directly and indirectly, thanks to what he does and thanks to what Rebbetzin Reichi does. And today to be with you and to celebrate with you as the baton of rabbinic leadership is being passed from one generation to the next, it is a truly exciting and marvelous moment. And we wish you so much nachas from all your truly outstanding mishpacha always. Seeing as now we are reading passages from Sefer Bamidbar, I would like to derive some inspiration for this occasion from 4 experiences that Klal Yisrael had in the Midbar, and all of them are related directly to our service here today. First of all, the leadership of Klal Yisrael. One of our great leaders was Aaron HaKohen, and yesterday in Shule we read about his passing, and the extent to which Vayivkuoto Kol Beit Yisrael Shloshim Yom, the entire house of Israel, men, women and children, mourned deeply for him for 30 continuous days. What was the secret of the great leadership of Aaron HaKohen to the extent that we continue to speak about him and his legacy to this day? Hale helps us in Pirkei Avot by charging us with the opportunity to be amongst the Talmidim of Aharon, to be Ohev Shalom v'Rodef Shalom, to love peace and to pursue it, to be Ohevet Habriot and Karban Torah, to love everybody and to bring them close to Torah. Rabbi Binstock, that's exactly the type of person that you are. You're Ohev Shalom, but it's not good enough that you just love peace. You're Rodef Shalom. You pursue after it in order to guarantee that there is a peaceful and cohesive and united environment within which you can lead the Kehillah. And in addition, you are Ohev et Habriot. You know, you cannot hold a committee meeting and decide by a majority vote that you're going to decide to love people. Loving people needs to flow naturally from one's heart. And that's the person you are. Your Ahavat Habriot just flows naturally from you. And as a result, being Ohevet Habriot, you're well positioned to be Karban Torah. Because people respond to rabbinic leadership when they know that their leaders love them. When their leaders are reaching out to them with genuine affection. And that's the secret to your success. The second lesson, also from yesterday's Parsha, where again we sadly read of the passing of a truly outstanding biblical figure, Miriam and Lydia. And what I find fascinating is that there are no family details given with regard to Miriam. Obviously we know who her parents were, we know who her brothers were, but that's it. Let's take, for example, Noach. In the details relating to the flood, we know that Noach brought his sons and his wife. Ishto, his wife is mentioned. We know that there was a Mrs. Noah. We don't know her name from Torah. According to tradition, her name was Naamah. But at least we know that she existed. Let's take, for example, from the book of Shoftim, Deborah the prophetess. She was Eshet Lapidot, the wife of Lapidot. That's all we know about her husband. It's left up to Chazal to describe for us the details of who he was and what he was about. That at least a husband is mentioned and the name is given. Not so, however, with Miriam. No details whatsoever. It's left up to Chazal in Masechet Sotah Daf Yud Bet to tell us that Kalev, one of the 2 good spies, was her husband, but it's not mentioned in Chumash. And therefore the Torah wants us to know that Miriam was an outstanding leader in her own right. Not because she was married to somebody, but because she herself had truly outstanding leadership characteristics. And ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly what you have in your Rebbetzin Leah. Of course, she's married to her husband, but she is for you a truly outstanding person, a wonderful role model in her own right. And therefore, what you have in this community is an outstanding rabbi An outstanding Rebbetzin who's also a graduate of our Young program, who reaches out to the community with love and with affection through teaching both directly and indirectly, who's a great role model, together with their truly lovely children, Moti, Didi, Atara, and Yata. And then, thirdly, what did our people eat in the mikveh? We all know the answer. It was the manna which fell from heaven. And what did they feel about that manna? In the opening pasuk of Sefer Dvarim, we're going to be told how immediately prior to his passing, Moshe Rabbeinu addressed the nation with Divrei Tochacha. He gave them reproof. And he mentions in that opening verse a number of places where they had been and where they spent, where they erred as a nation. And two of the places mentioned are Tophel and Lavan. Tophel, Lavan, where were they? They're not mentioned anywhere. What happened there? How is it that Moshe is referring to these places, but they're not recorded elsewhere? So Rashi comes to our aid, and he brings the words of Chazal to tell us that actually there weren't such places. This is an allusion to the manna. Because it was Lavan, it always had the same appearance. It came in the same packaging every day, wrapped by a layer of dew above and a layer of dew below. And because it always had the same appearance, it became Tophel. It was Tafel. It was of secondary importance in their eyes. They simply became bored with it. Now, isn't this extraordinary? We know from the teachings of our sages that the manna had the taste that you wanted it to have. There was always an ample supply and a double portion of Fridays to guarantee that over Shabbos we would have enough to eat. And in addition, miraculously, there was no human waste from it. What an extraordinary food, and yet we became bored with it. That's because it always looked the same. For parents and for teachers, the worst thing we want to hear from our children or from our students is when they say, it's boring. And what is the antidote to boredom? I believe it's to be found in Tehillim Kuf Yotet, Psalm 119, verse 77, where we exclaim, Ki Toratecha Shashuai. Your Torah, Hashem, is my delight. If you're delighted with something, you'll never become bored with it. If there's a person whom you find to be delightful, you'll never be bored by that person. You'll always want to be with that person. And that, Baruch Hashem, is the outstanding quality of our Torah. It is our delight. And that is because there are always fresh ways of delving into the depths of Torah learning, of discovering added dimensions to which it is relevant. And it gives fulfillment and meaning and joy within our lives. And in Rabbi Binstock, you have somebody who is enabling you to appreciate the magical qualities and the ever-relevant features of our Torah, as a result of which here in Hale, nothing is ever boring. Things are exciting. The services are wonderful. There are activities. There are learning opportunities. Because the Torah is considered to be a delight. And what you have in this shul, remarkably, is Talmud Torah right at the heart of the existence of the shul. We call the shul by many names, but primarily it's correctly called the shul after the German school, because it must be a center for Torah education. And that is what you have. And it was gifted to you, Rabbi Binstock, from your wonderful predecessor, Rabbi Phil Portnoy, who guaranteed that there would be an outstanding center of Torah right at the heart of the community. And you are taking advantage of what was given to you, and you are enhancing it further. And with regard to your predecessor, as has already been mentioned, you certainly have big shoes to fill. And my best advice that I can give to anyone who has big shoes to fill is that you should buy a pair for yourself. And indeed, that's exactly what you and Rebbe and Leanne have done. You're doing things your way, your flavor, your time, and it's wonderful, and it is much loved. And in this way, by being yourself, you're endearing yourself to your beloved, and you're making such an incredible impact. And my thoughts, In next week's parashah, we will read how Bilam, the heathen prophet, blessed our nation. He wanted to curse us, but he blessed us with the words, Ma tovu alecha Yaakov mishkanotecha Yisrael. How wonderful are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. According to our tradition, the tent of Jacob represents the Jewish home, while the Mishkan Yisrael, the dwelling place of Israel, represents the Shule and the Beit Midrash. On my way here to the Shule, I had a lovely experience. I popped into your home and saw representatives of the community there. For me, this symbolizes the extent to which you, Rabbi Benstock and Rebbe Lian, are prioritizing the Ohel Yaakov. You want your community to know that the way to gauge the success of a Rabbi Rebbetzin is not by what happens in Shul. It's the extent to which what happens in Shul makes an impact on what happens in people's homes. Because that ultimately will be the guarantor for the survival of Klal Yisrael. And within your own home, the two of you are offering such wonderful Haknasatokim. And it's a marvelous center for the community, as an inspiration for every single home within the community to be a true Ohel Yaakov. That doesn't mean that you're ignoring the Mishkan Yisrael, quite the contrary. This building, Baruch Hashem, now that we're able to, post-pandemic, is such a major center of activity. In fact, it is now a veritable Mishkan Yisrael, the Mishkan of Rabbi Yisrael Benstock. And it is in this way that you will say Hashem, you and your dear Rebbe, for many wonderful years to come, will be able to make a great impact on this community and through this community, well beyond Hale. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu bless you, that you will continue to inspire, that you will enable this great community to go only Chayil El Chayil, from strength to added strength in the future. It's so lovely for me to hear the extent to which your community love you, and the extent to which they want to grow with you. That's the best bracha for any Rabbi Rebbe. When the community don't just want to sit and be entertained, they genuinely want to grow and develop. And that is the story here, with all the signs for future wonderful success. Ladies and gentlemen, on many occasions in the past, Rabbi Benstock has stood at this pulpit and he has addressed you. After a long, long wait, for the very first time, he is now just about to address you as the newly inducted Rabbi of Hale District Synagogue. Morai Rabbatai, Dayanim Rabbanim, ladies and gentlemen, will you all now please rise to welcome and to celebrate the induction of the Honorable Rabbi Yisrael Benstock.
Does that mean I need to go back and deliver all my sermons again? Rishus, Chief Rabbi, Dayanim, my dear parents, parents-in-law, Rabbonim, distinguished guests, Shul President Mark Samuelson, members of the executive and management team, family, friends, and all the members of our beloved Hale Shul community. I know that people who've come here today from near and far, and thank you all for joining us. Welcome to Hale Shul. If you haven't been here before, thank you for coming. Please come again. If you have been here before, thank you for coming. Please come again. It's always lovely to see you. And Leanne and I are so touched by all the people who've taken the time and made the effort to come here today. I know there are a lot of other simplers and other events taking place today, and we're so appreciative of all the messages and gestures of support and love people have sent us. And it really means a lot to us that you've all come here for this special occasion. The first thing I'd like to do is to publicly say thank you to Hashem for all the gifts and opportunities that I've been blessed with. I've been blessed with the most wonderful family, the most wonderful community, friends, colleagues, mentors, chavrusas. I'm acutely aware that everything that I have is a gift from the Almighty, and I'm very grateful for it.
A rabbi's induction normally takes place after a few months. In our case, it's been 3 years. You know what 3 years is? 3 years is normally the time for the upsharing. It's a time traditionally when a 3-year-old boy gets his first haircut. So the President and I both went for haircuts in honor of this occasion. So we've been in Hale for a while now. And my friends from London asked me if I've become Mancunian. I don't know, what does that even mean? So one of my friends asked me, well, have you turned into the kind of person who walks down the street loudly singing Oasis songs at the top of your voice? And I said, maybe. But in truth, having an induction ceremony after 3 years is very special because we've really got to know people in the community. After 3 months, I could have dreamt up some nice things to say. But after 3 years, we've grown together. We've lived through good, bad, and completely unprecedented times together. We've danced and danced, lived and learned, laughed and cried together. We've shared painful, happy, and hopeful moments together. And that's only brought us closer together and made this day even more special. Chief Rabbi, thank you so much for your kind words and for your support, wisdom, and advice throughout. I know when we lived in Hendon, we were almost neighbours, and we had the opportunity of spending so much time with you, and we really benefited from that, and we're grateful and appreciative of it. But even moving out here, we're so thankful that you always make time in your incredibly busy schedule for both the Robertson and myself. We're grateful to you personally in terms of your leadership and for your communal leadership. We're so blessed to have you as our Chief Rabbi. My dear parents, I wouldn't be here without you. Sometimes people ask me if you encourage me to become a rabbi. And I say no. Growing up in a rabbi's home, my parents always advised me not to become a rabbi. It's not a job for a good Jewish boy. But what can I do? I'm a rebel. The truth is I do have a rebellious streak, but thank you so much for nurturing that in a way which brings the best out of it and allows me to use it for the best. I have learnt and still do learn so much from you both. And I'm not joking when I say I learned far more about becoming a rabbi from growing up with you as my parents than I did from any of my official Semicha rabbinical training programs. We're so delighted that my parents-in-law, Eben and Shule Sklar, could join us all the way from South Africa. I know that you've wanted to come and visit for such a long time, ever since we got here, but due to COVID, this just hasn't been possible. And I know you've heard so many wonderful things about our life here and about the community, and we're so glad that you're able to join us and meet our extended family here. On the way back from Shule on Friday, after a really beautiful Friday night live davening, with the most incredible atmosphere, singing and dancing, my father-in-law Zaidi Sklar was dancing with his grandchildren as we welcomed in Shabbos together. And he turned to me and said, Dayenu, if I'd have come over just for this, it would have been enough. It was reason enough to come just for the Friday night. We had another beautiful Shabbos morning shul yesterday where there was another Dayenu. Shabbos evening when we had a beautiful Hale special summer Suda on the decking in our back garden where we sang through the sunset together with 80 people singing out Shabbos together. We had another Dayenu. Mum and Dad, since you arrived, everything has been so perfect. I hope we get a Dayenu at the end of the ceremony today. But we're so happy that you're able to join us. And you should be very proud of your daughter. Because I know I'm a bit biased, but I think she's the most amazing wife, mother, and Robertson. Yeah, I really mean that, and I'm very thankful the way you combine caring for the needs of the community with looking after Moti, Biddy, Akarayafa, and me. It's very inspiring. And in terms of everything we do in the community, it always has been a team effort. I know the rabbi is often the more public-facing role,
but your incredibly talented leadership is so highly valued by everyone. And I know you mentioned this yesterday when discussing the roles of Moshe and Aaron, that there isn't just one role in terms of any kind of leadership. This isn't a one-man job. And I couldn't do anything I do without your constant help and support, and I'm really thankful for it. I want to thank our Shule President Mark Samuelson and the entire exec, Shule team, and the wider volunteer group for being so supportive and enabling us to thrive here in Hale. You've gone out of your way to make this weekend so special for us, but also to help bring our vision for this great community into an exciting reality. We're blessed to be able to be working with you. And thank you also to the team who helped bring us here. I know it's been a while now, but we feel so at home, and you really worked hard to enable this to happen, and we're very appreciative of that. And also a big thank you to the super dedicated Shule staff, Suzanne, Josie, Miguel, Paul, Rima, Kat, and all the nursery team as well. We're so thankful for everything you do to make this place so special, and it means a lot to us. We're incredibly blessed to be working as part of a team with Rabbi Evan and Tova Levine, our education directors here in Hale. We keep Rabbi Evan in our tefillahs for a refuah shalema, a complete and speedy recovery. Rabbi Evan and Tova coordinate a fantastic range of Torah learning here in the community. Ultimately, the Torah is what keeps us together as a people, and our sustainable growth will only take place through Torah. Rabbi Evan and Tova, you are both such incredible role models, and you're also such wonderful people to work with. And we really look forward to Mitzvah Hashem, Rabbi Evan having a speedy recovery and joining us here back in Shul as soon as possible in Hale Romania. Amen. I'd like to pay particular tribute to my predecessor, Rabbi Joel and Ruthie Portnoy, and the entire Portnoy family, who led this community for over 30 years, with a combination of tireless passion, wisdom and perseverance. Together with a dedicated team, they grew this community from an aspirational startup to a shining beacon of British Jewry. Thank you for all your support and advice, and I know Rabbi Portnoy isn't here today, but next time you visit Hale, I really hope you'll be proud with your legacy which you've left to us, and us continuing and developing it in our own way. Friends, what is the most important verse in the entire Torah? It's a difficult question to try and answer. It's like asking me who my favourite member of the community is. We don't have favourites. But there is a very fascinating medrash, quoted in the introduction to Yaakov, where rabbis from the Talmud are discussing the most important verse in the Torah. Ben Zoma says it's the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. The ultimate statement of Jewish faith. Ben Namas says, I have something more important than that. V'yahavta l'reacha kamocha. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. And Rabbi Shimon ben Pazi says, I have a verse that is more important than both of those. Es hakeres ha'echad ta'aseh b'boker, v'es hakeres ha'sheni ta'aseh b'in ha'bayim. A verse discussing the regular morning and afternoon services in the temple. And that's quite puzzling, because some of you might have had Shema and love your neighbor in your top 10, but let's be honest, how many of you have even heard of that verse, let alone positioned it in the top 10 or the most important verse of the Torah? So the most basic way of understanding this is that the importance of this verse is realizing that it's teaching us the value of continuity and consistency. The daily service may not always seem like the most glamorous thing, but without it, where would we be? It's what holds us together as a community. But I'd like to draw your attention to a very interesting observation made on this verse, this most important verse about the daily morning and afternoon service. An observation made by Rabbi Aaron Levine in Hadrash Ha'im, where he comments that just like the daytime, our lives have a morning and an afternoon. The morning represents our youth, a time where we have a lot of energy, but not always so much wisdom. The afternoon represents our later years, where we have more wisdom but less energy. These are, of course, generalizations. You find younger people with wisdom and older people with energy. But the concept exists. Every morning we wake up with more strength. Every evening we go to sleep with more wisdom. Our challenge in life is to combine the two together, to try to infuse wisdom into our early years and infuse energy into our later years. We do this as individuals and we do this together as a community. Thank God we are so blessed across the age ranges here in Hale. I don't want to call anyone old or young if they're not comfortable by being categorized this way, but I do want to say a special happy birthday to our community elder, Ella Lenton, who is celebrating her 103rd birthday. Ella will always fondly remember your 100th birthday, where you gave us as a community such a warm and genuine blessing. And thank God we lived to see that blessing be fulfilled. Please God, you have enough of resilience and health, and only know symptoms from you or your family. Amen. The community here was founded by people who had a tremendous amount of energy and drive. There was hardly any Jewish presence here in Hale 50 years ago, and many of the Jews who came here had come here to get away from the Jewish community. But that didn't stop the founders of this community. They dragooned and cajoled the early Jewish settlers in South Manchester into forming this community, and we are so fortunate that they did. The community is now established, it's thriving, it's rejuvenating. We have Jewish life, living and learning across the ages, across the age ranges and religious spectrum. There is something for everyone, and we all benefit from each other. We've seen so many new families move to the area. We've seen so many new babies born in the community. We've seen so many opportunities where we've been able to gather together in prayer, in learning, celebrating Shabbos and Yom Tov meals together with such warmth and a wonderful atmosphere. There's something so special about seeing 3 generations sitting in Shule next to each other on a Shabbos morning. In an age where this is becoming increasingly less common, we should cherish what we have. We should celebrate it and strengthen it. Our goal as we move forward together as a community is to combine the strengths of the morning and the evening. If we reflect back on those 3 famous verses in the Midrash, the Shema, love your neighbor, and the morning and afternoon service, the Shema teaches us who we are. The Ahavta, love your neighbor, teaches us what we do. Esakeres Echad, the morning and evening service, teach us how we do it. We are ultimately born of faith. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. We're a community because we love and care for each other. V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. And we will endure, and we will succeed, and please God will continue to grow from strength to strength if we can remember how to do it. Learning the messages of the morning and afternoon service, the continuity and consistency of the regular involvement, and the merging of the combined energy, resources, and wisdom of everyone. Please God, this wonderful community will continue to grow from strength to strength, will only know peace, health, happiness, and goodness, culminating in the ultimate peace of humanity, the coming Mashiach, and here we are remaining made to speak in our days. Amen. Amen.
Yisrael, the last time I gave you a bracha in public in the shul, a few years off, but on behalf of Mummy and me, we're so thrilled and proud of who you are, what you've become, and what you're doing. In yesterday's parsha with this, it was the phrase, Oz Yoshir Yisrael. Then Yisrael sang.
and referring, as we know in its context, to the Jewish people. In contrast to 40 years previously, when it was Ozdashir Moshe B'nai Yisrael, where the Jewish people had to be guided into song by Moses, 40 years later, Yisrael could do it by themselves. In Yisrael, we've seen how you've been able to start to sing your song together with Leanne. A song of melody, a song of enthusiasm, a song of rich with Torah in all its aspirations and all its flavors. And our bracha to you is that, please God, you should sing this song with all your purpose that you and Leanne have together with your wonderful family. Your might should bless you in this skill as you go forward with power and strength.
ונאמר בויו אדוני למלך על הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו Mibavizar, Meshayach, Meshayim, Mizavar, Uzoi Zavar, Sufat Yabuzava, Vela Yokam Gimba, Noel, Ve'azikna, Anihu, Ve'aseva, Ani Esva, Ani Yasizim, Ani Esva, Ani Esva, Adonai Hashem olam b'terem ro yesim ivra le'ez naso b'chesed ro Adonai
So, I would like to thank everyone who's taking part in the service, to all the wonderful words that have been said. More importantly, I'm glad we finished about now, as I have to rush off to a wedding. And I might have said it's all about we and not I, but anyone who knows me knows that it's all about me. So I would just ask that if everyone can remain seated while the Chief Rabbi, and our distinguished guests leave. I wish you all enjoying your tea. I'm sorry I won't be with you, but thank you so much for coming. It's been wonderful. Word in the post week. Rabbis, if you would get